one with every other.
Malti, we now start with the interreligious prayers. We begin with the Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra, please.
Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodaya. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodaya. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Asato ma Satgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Malti, we now have the Zoroastrian prayer by Fraining.
Thank you. Shri Pak Dadar Aura Mazdani Madad Hojoji. Gorje Kore Avajiad Pak Afshun Shahe Faredun Vapak Beram Yazet Panabad Ham Jartosh Ti Madadgar Ham Papi Negedar Afshu Shahe Faredun Vapak Beram Yazet Panabad Yatha Ahu Vairyo Yatha Ratush Ashachit Hacha Vanghe Ush Dazdau Maningo Shaute Nanam Angus Mazdai Shatrem Chai Ahurai Aim Drigopyo Dadatavastarahem Yatha Ahu Vairyo Yatha Ratush Ashachit Hacha Vanghe Ush Dazdau Maningo Shaute Nanam Angyush Mazdai Shatrem Chai Ahurai Aim Drigobyo Dadatavastarahem Ashem Vahu Bahishtam Vasti Usta Asti Usta Ahmai Yadeshai Bahishtai Ashem Sarosh Yazad Nipana Hojoji. Thank you.
So much. We now have the Christian prayer by Deepti.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy
Deepti, it's not clear. Okay. We can't hear her. Gulu, will you chant the Sikh prayer, please?
एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजोनी सैबन गुर प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक हो से भी सच सोचे सोच न हो वही जे सोचे लखवार चुप न होवई जे लाए रहा लिवतार बुखिया बुख न उतरी जे बन्ना पुरिया भार सहस्यारा पालक होवई त एक न चले नाल किव सचियारा होइए किव कूरे टूटे पाल हुक्म रजाई चल रहा नानक लिखिया नाम वाहिगुरु जी दा खालसा वाहिगुरु जी दी फतेह बोले सो निहाल सत श्री अकाल
Thank you, Gulu. And now I request Sharmila to kindly introduce our esteemed speaker.
It is my pleasure to introduce the speaker of the day, Mr. Manoj Shamdasani. Manoj is a Vastu as well as a design consultant based in Bangalore. He is a certified architect and founder of Ekam Sai Vastu. His aim is to enrich the lives of humanity by introducing people to the ancient wisdom of Vastu and metaphysical activations. A very warm welcome to you, Manoj.
Thank you, Sharmila. And now, Manoj, it's over to you.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Sharmila, for that wonderful introduction. And I would like to thank Sajani for inviting me here, and thanks to everyone here. How I would want to start is I would want to keep this very brief and also very interactive. The whole purpose of this beautiful satsang today and me speaking here is about how relevant Vastu and its principles are these days. So quickly before I start, either y'all, I would love if everyone would just put in probably not more than a line about what the thought on Vastu is. It can be good, it can be bad. It's anything that's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about Vastu. You can either unmute yourself and speak or just put it in the chat box.
You can unmute yourself and also say what you have to.
Yeah, just a one line. What's the first thing that comes to your head?
One, just unmute yourself and say your thoughts.
I think Vastu's the principles. I'm Malti here, by
I'm
which
Malti.
you want to. It's a science, actually. I feel which helps us to redress anything that we think is a little negative, especially in buildings and things like that. Because I usually hear it. In connection with building or with a site or something like that. So that's all I know about Vastu. So I learned more today. So this is what I feel. It is something that you use to redress anything that could be negative and bring in a positiveness into the picture.
Very good, Malti. I'm happy
Thank
at least a lot of us know a lot about Vastu. Yes, you are right. To a very large extent, it is. Next.
I
Someone
am
has written
Janakaram.
energy interactions in the chat.
It is all due to energies, play of energies, and how effectively to manage the energy so that it is much more positive and elevating and eliminate the negative energies.
Yes, sir, it's correct. It's also the base foundation for Vastu is the energies that are around us and balancing them. Next, anyone else?
One else?
Okay, I guess like Malti said and Janakaram sir said, Vastu, see, a lot of people also have a lot of misconceptions about Vastu. They feel it only, see, Vastu doesn't only necessarily, uh, you can you can design Vastu and bring in the elements of Vastu anywhere. It can be in your own car, it can be in a small apartment, a big factory. Uh, Vastu is not, it is a science. Yes, it is a science. It's about how designing a space. It's a science of designing spaces in tandem with nature. But more than all of this, uh, Vastu is a way of life, everyone. It's on a day-to-day basis. If everything is placed, if everything is designed in a certain way uh, for the movement of energy, or I would say precisely on whether where your bedroom is, where your kitchen is, where your toilets are, if everything is placed where it's supposed to be, the house is more conducive to give you. For example, I'll give you all. I mean, everyone understands that, we all, I'm sure everyone agrees to this, that, we all were destined. When we were born, our destiny was written, whether you're going to die a Karorpati, Arapati, or Lakpati, or whatever. When you were born, like, example, when I was born, God would have written that before Manoj dies, he's going to make 100 crores. And the only difference, you can't change that. But what happens is, what's the point of having that kind of wealth or that kind of happiness at an age of 70, 80, 90, or in the later part of your years? It's only that designing your space as per Vastu is just going to speeden up that process. It's just going to, the path is going to be the same. You're just going to be more conducive. Whatever you do in life, you'll do it the right way. Whatever has to come to you will come to you faster. Coming back straight to the topic about what I actually wanted to speak to everyone about today is Vastu in modern times. Why I chose this topic is because I'm sure that, okay, at least could everyone in the chat box just say yes or no? How many of us feel that Vastu is a very age-old thing, which is a prehistoric thing that only people followed when they were designing temples, or our ancestors did many, many years back, or it was something which was only meant for the southern states of India? How many of us had this feeling regarding Vastu? Could everyone say yes or no on the chat box, or just Malti said she did. Andunanga Gita, yes, no. Okay, no. See, I'm so fortunate today that I have a 50-50 on this, because at least for most of my life that I've been and practicing Vastu and actually helping a lot of people with Vastu, a lot of people said that, Manoj, we never knew that growing up, even for most of my clients in Bangalore, they said growing up Vastu, we never had any Vastu consultant, say in the 1970s. There were astrologers who probably knew a little Vastu, or they would, guide you on you have to go about it. Many people told me that I have a lot of clients up north. I'm talking about regions like Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Delhi, where Vastu is still, even though it's there, but it's also not there. The reason I'm telling you Vastu has nothing to do with, it's a very time immemorial science. It started at ages back. I mean, all our temples today, the temples which have been surviving, the famous temples, whether it's Tirupati, whether it's Siddhivinayak in Bombay, um, whether it's the Krishna temple in Bhubaneswar and Puri, Jagannath, all these temples were very, very well designed and well activated when it came to Vastu. I personally checked these temples and I've personally seen how very subtly Vastu has been inculcated into these temples. That's the reason why when these temples have stood time immemorial and they've been, these are known as the most powerful temples where everyone would say, "Meri man ki ichha puri hui," or you go there and you get what you ask for. So Vastu is like I told you, it's like Pandora's box. You open it and you get more than what you expect. But what's happened with the advent of time, a lot of people have either they don't know who to go to, or they don't know, or they have a lot of different kind of fears. They feel it's not flexible. I wanted to ask everyone, what's the first thing that you look in? Imagine today you're going to buy a house. What's the first thing you're going to look at? Like some would look at location, budget, legality, uh, proximity to your office. I'm sure all of you all look at these things, right? There's nothing wrong in looking at these things. These things are also very, very important. But along with looking at all of this, if everyone look at uh, basically what's required, you also look at the Vastu aspect, it's going to make your life very beautiful. And it doesn't mean that a house which is now everyone would have a question, right? That what if I've bought a house and it's not as per the principles of Vastu and I cannot move out from there? See, Vastu, a lot of people, why I'm talking about the misconceptions is because coming back to the topic on Vastu in modern science, in the relevance of Vastu in modern times, as of now, a lot of people think that once you bought a house, you can't do anything about it. Your Vastu consultant would come, they would tell you, break this, move that. Unfortunately, like in there are loopholes. There are a lot of consultants who also do that, but Vastu is basically it's about how you balance energies and it's about playing around with energies and balancing them in a way that you don't have to necessarily give up on your other aspects that are important for you. Like I said, your location, proximity, closeness to your children's school. You don't have to give up on all of that. You just have to know how to balance the energies in the current house that you're living in. It can be done in very, very simple ways. Just like the other day, one of my clients, she asked me a very regular question. She told me, as a layman, you tell me something that a layman can follow, because there are certain principles which are not very easy to follow. But as a layman, she asked me, what can I do? I told her the simplest thing you can do is something that all of us, probably our great grandmothers, grandmothers did. Every time they would swab their floors in their house, they would always use rock salt. How many of you in your houses, probably in your ancestral houses, or I'm sure your parents, grandparents, use salt while mopping or use salt? I'm sure when you have small children at home, they would remove their nazar using salt. How many of you all have experienced this? Malini says she has. Sorry, Malti. No one else has experienced this salt in any form? Correct. And why salt? See, salt has certain properties. Why do we all hang a lime? All of us use limes in different ways in different cultures. We Hindus use them, Muslims use them, the Jewish use them. A lot of them use them in different cultures. Also, on a very simple health purpose, you have a bad stomach, you drink lemon soda, you drink a lime juice. It clears out your toxins. A lot of us hang them in the front of our houses, offices, cars, main doors, because it's known to absorb anything that's any negative energies or any, like Geeta said, for removing nazar. Yes, nazar is nothing but it's a form of energy which is not very conducive to the person it affects. Like that salt is also a very beautiful cleanser of energy. Positive, negative, anything. You can take bath with salt. You can put once a week, you can put a handful of salt in your bucket, rock salt especially, or even if you can get access to Himalayan salt, even better. Put it in a bucket when you're taking bath. Use it while you're mopping the house. Keep 4 bowls of rock salt at the 4 corners of your house, your offices. You can keep anyone who has frequently has problems. I mean, if you're constantly missing accidents in your car, or you feel that, there's some form of energy that every time you drive your car, you're nervous or you feel you're going to have. I'm sure you all have a gut feeling, right? That today I shouldn't take my car, let's take a cab. Anyone who has that feeling, you can just take a Ziploc, put in some rock salt, some cloves of pepper, and just put it in the dashboard and just change it once a month. No one exactly knows why these things happen. But let me tell you, you cannot live in this world with only positive energies. There has to be a balance. Where there is a positive, there is also a negative. It's like a battery, like plus and minus. Uh, you need a balance. It's only how you protect yourself and carry on. So that is where Vastu comes in. And that's where Vastu is very relevant in modern times. As we are progressing uh, financially, infrastructurally, cities are getting bigger, houses are getting fancier, disposable incomes are rising, technology is advancing with every single day. Very soon, they already have cars without drivers. A lot of things. With all of this, our mind is not able to expand with the energies that are expanding around us. All these changes that are happening around you are nothing but energies expanding around us. So our mind is not able to cope up with this. I had a client who was actually she's a very well-known psychologist. She told me that during COVID and these 2 years, especially after the first lockdown, she had a lot of clients coming in who started having different forms of mental phobias and issues just by sitting at home. And that phobia of death. A lot of us had this during COVID, that I might catch the infection. I need to protect my family. A phobia of sanitizing, play, hygiene. So, all of this over a period of time has worked a lot in our life and created a lot of imbalances in our life. So that's why it's very important that the space you're staying in, the space you're working in, that space can be a small office, it can be a 10 by 10 office, it can be a big mansion, it can be anything. Vastu is relevant even, like I told you, in your car. So these things are very relevant on how you have to, on how you bring Vastu into your life and make it part of your life on a very micro level. Also, in modern times, it's also very hard. People find that calling a Vastu consultant home, that phobia, it's also a phobia. Let me tell you, a lot of my clients, before I met them, before I would enter their house, they would tell me, Manoj sir, if you're going to tell me to move my toilet, if you're going to tell me to sit here, if you're going to tell me to do this and that, I'm not going to do it. It's not possible. You have to find a shortcut or a way out without me moving around things. There are a lot of beautiful ways of balancing energies without necessarily structurally changing a structure. Actually, in fact, someone staying in a house for over 30, 40 years, if you actually structurally, your house is actually a reflection of what you are. It's like a marriage. Two people come together, you get into a relationship, you all become companions, you all get used to each other's energies. A relationship between you and your space, your house or office, is like a marriage. If any one partner falls sick or there's any sudden small slight change, behavioral change in one partner, the other one is affected. Just like that, if you make sudden changes in your house, uh, we've all seen that a lot of people have experienced this, that you suddenly buy a new house, before you go in, the head of the family, their health gets affected. You're trying to leave an old house, and every time you try to sell that property, there's always a lot of issues when you try to sell that or get rid of it. So this relation with you and your house, it's a very complex relationship, and this is where Vastu comes in. So this is actually about the relevance. You can bring in Vastu in very, very small ways. Traditional Vastu can be brought into modern life in a very simple way. Salt, um, fragrances, different activations, searching spaces which actually comply to basic Vastu norms, at least when you're staying there or searching something. Existing spaces, if there is an imbalance, get it corrected. When you do all of this over a period of time, you're going to see a major paradigm shift in your thought process. I'm sure all of us in our house, we have no one's perfect. We all have certain someone might have regular fights with their spouses. Someone might have a parent in the house who's going through some kind of a mental issue. Someone might have a child who's excessively aggressive at home. All these are energies. These are energies because some part of your house is imbalanced and it is affecting that person or that place. So in the modern sense, at such a time, see, traditionally, even traditionally, most of the houses, when they were designed, the toilets will always be outside the house. You still go to certain parts of Tamil Nadu, you go to certain parts of Andhra Pradesh, they still have houses. I myself, 3 years back, designed a house where the client was very specific. My client in Andhra Pradesh, he has a booming business in Bangalore, but very traditional at heart. He told me, Manoj, the land is yours, you design it how you want, but I want the bathrooms outside because that is the practice we follow. But currently, even if you go read old books of Vastu, they would always say having a toilet inside the house is not good, especially having attached toilets is a very bad thing. But with the advent of time, we've come to a stage that today having an attached toilet is not a luxury, but it's more of a necessity. Like that, Vastu has also evolved. Solutions also have evolved. With every technological advance, there's also a technological solution that's evolved. Metaphysical solutions where you can balance energies with having all these luxuries around you, without sacrificing all this. And my main criteria today to speak to everyone was this, that how we all can inculcate this beautiful science of Vastu and energy uh, into our lives, into our spaces, without necessarily giving up on any of the luxuries that we all have got so used to. You all are already doing a wonderful job. You all have this beautiful satsang happening. It's a very good way of cleansing and balancing energies and interacting. Uh, that is more or less about it on what I wanted to actually brief everyone about. If anyone has any questions or you'll want to know anything more or something you'll want to ask me, it's an open house now.
So much, Manoj. Now I'd like people to ask questions. Whoever wants to, kindly unmute yourself and ask.
Can I be heard, Sajani?
Yes, I can hear you, Sunita.
So, Mr. Manoj, thank you so much for, clarifying this mystery of Vastu, which we don't understand so well, actually. So the point is that, like you said yourself, when you buy an apartment, then you just go by all those factors that you yourself made a mention of, location, cost, who is the builder, this, that. But then you just buy an apartment. You go into it, oh yes, it's got good light, it's got this, it's got that. But how do you know about the rest of it? The Vastu factor simply, we had no awareness of these things.
Uh, Sunita, it's a very relevant question what you asked. See, I'll tell you one thing, like you have this fear that it's not a fear, it's more like a phobia that, I don't know what's in the apartment when I buy it. You
Yeah.
just look at the builder, whether it has good light, good ventilation.
Uh,
It's also actually the social responsibility of the builder to look at these aspects when they are constructing. But unfortunately, I would say in Bangalore, out of 10, maybe two builders would think about, because they have this phobia that building a apartment as per Vastu would mean the cost of construction would go up, which is not true. Uh,
how would it go up? I mean, they just have to design it, no, according to the.
no, see what happens is, the cost of construction doesn't go up, but there are certain constraints that what happens is, now see, in every apartment, you're not always going to get, in every apartment, you'll have apartments, all the four doors, you'll have a north facing apartment, a south facing, an east and a west. At least you'll have a north and a south, or an east or west facing apartment. You'll at least have two apartments facing each other, two directions at least. So what happens is, everyone, to see, the most basic vastu that everyone, I'm sure, here follows is, everyone would say, I want a north facing apartment or I want an east facing apartment. That's the most basic thing I'm sure all of y'all would look at. I'm sure no one else would know anything else. And even if y'all know, that's the most basic thing y'all will look at. I'm sure even uh, Sunita, you were also aware that you might also have looked for that I want an east facing. No one would ever buy a south facing apartment. The fear.
I see. They always ask, of
See,
course, but whatever they say, they never say that it should be north facing. This I did not know.
no. I mean, what I'm trying to say is people have a phobia that, never buy a south facing apartment, you might get into trouble. It's not. About coming back to your question, how would you know? See, what happens is you're never going to know, Sunita. It's only once you stay, like I told you, your relationship with your house
Correct.
is like a marriage. So once you get into that, you see, every marriage is very, okay, jokes apart, this is a joke. See, every marriage, till you get into the marriage, till you get to know each other, you'll always have that strength and that little adjusting thing that, I'm getting to know them, you're okay to adjust a bit. Like that, it is like that in the house. Once you get into the house, you have a small fever, you constantly have a bad headache after entering the new house. You're okay to, overcome it. You'll be like, it's probably not the house. But over a period of time, a lot of people have shifted to new houses and got serious health issues. They've developed, young people have got diabetes. Young people have got, my clients, I know them, they are 35, 40 years old. No history of diabetes in their family, but they've got it. No history of any kind of migraines, but they've got it. The easiest thing you can do while looking out for a new house is, it's only certain things. You see where the kitchen is placed, you see where the bedroom is, and at least the most simplest thing you all can do is try searching for a square or a rectangular house. Don't, these days we all go for aesthetics. Also, aesthetics is very important. Everyone likes fancy shaped houses. A lot of people are going in for circular houses. The whole building is circular or spiral. Rectangular, and don't go for awkwardly shaped houses.
Then they
Yeah.
say that when you place your bed, your head should face east and something like that also I've heard.
See, Sunita, what happens is the magnetic pole of the earth is it's flowing from north to south. means the magnetic energies of the earth, it's inclined from north to south. So when you keep your head aligned with the earth's magnetic pull, there's a lot of magnetic energy flowing in the north. When you keep your head in the north, you're not going to be able to handle that kind of energy. You will have restless nights, you'll have sleepless nights, you will develop migraines, it'll take time for you to actually go. You all can observe this. This is like Sunita, you made a very relevant thing. The simplest thing you all can do in your house, try to observe where you keep your head when you're sleeping. Open your phone compass, just see where you're keeping your head while you're sleeping. If you're keeping your head in the north, you will observe that you will always have a disturbed sleep. Very few people would say, yes, I have a sound sleep. If you do, I'm telling you, it's really nice. But most of us would say, I need to use my phone, I need to read a book, I need to talk, I need to do something before sleeping, or I need to be really tired. The simplest thing you can do is always keep your head in the south while you sleep, away from the magnetic force, or you keep your head in the east.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This is Kashmira. I used to sleep because my interior designer had so put my bed and it was facing the north. And for a couple years, it was awful. The minute I changed it, everything turned around.
Yes, Kashmira, it's actually it's very relevant. I mean, generally we would suggest kids to sleep with the head in the east because the directions from the east are generally good. Uh, See, what happens is a lot of my Hindu clients would tell me a certain thing. I do Vastu for everyone. Vastu, one more thing I want to tell everyone, Vastu has nothing to do with religion, caste, or creed. Vastu is same for a Hindu, for a Muslim, for a Sikh, for a Jew, for everyone. Because the forces of nature, the sun and the moon don't rise at different times. Certain principles and activations change. We might use a swastik, you might use a cross, we might use something, you might use a Star of David, but all of them are very powerful in balancing energies. So, uh, irrespective of this, I have a lot of clients, my Muslim clients especially, would tell me that they wouldn't like keeping their sleeping with their head in the east because actually their feet go toward the west, towards the Qibla. So they don't actually like doing that, which is also you have to respect their sentiments. So a lot of my Muslim clients always prefer keeping their head in the south or in the west for them. But south is generally the best direction to keep your head and sleep. You will have the best kind of sleep. You will wake up fresh. You can be rest assured you'll never have any kind of mental issues all your life.
Hey, just a follow-up on south, but if you have a beam in the south, can you keep your head?
Yes, a very relevant question. Also, certain restrictions are there if you have a toilet in your south. In the sense, right behind where you're keeping your head, that's the place where your toilet door is opening. No, then inclining your head, keeping it in the east is better. If you have a beam above your head, it's very bad because having any kind of beam, overhead loft over your head while you sleep is very bad because you're going to get up with a very heavy head. Uh, you'll always be under a lot of financial burden. It adds to your financial burdens. Uh, there are ways of nullifying that. Uh, the simplest things you can do for a beam above your head is, yes, number one, don't sleep below it. But if you don't have an option, there are a lot of good balancing tools. There are a lot of crystals and certain metaphysical activations which are very good to nullify such beams.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, would you be able to go more into, suppose we are stuck with a certain position of our bed, we can't change it. Then, like you talked about crystals, is there anything else that we can do? Can you give us some suggestions?
See, the simplest thing you can do, Karishma, is sorry, Kashmira, the simplest thing you can do is, depending upon which direction your room is, I mean, whether you're sleeping in the southwest room or it depends also upon that. But the simplest thing you can do is you can probably take 4 or 5 Ziplocs, put rock salt in them, and or like bags, and try to probably keep them or stick them on the beam, or you can just paint the beam yellow, and you can actually add a wind chime or a bell right in the center of the beam. To an extent that balances the energy of the beam. That's the simplest way to actually balance beam energies.
Thank you.
But I would suggest don't sleep below a beam. Try to realign your bed.
And how about traditionally everyone has a puja room in their home. So what about the direction of that?
See, certain pointers for a puja room. Never have a puja room where it's adjacent to your toilet. In the sense, if you have your puja room in the front, you have a toilet behind it, it's not good. Or on the side, it's not good. Uh, Certain cultures say that you should face east while praying. Certain cultures say the god should face east. Both are correct. Either you face east or the gods face east. So just incline your puja in that way, in such a way that it should never be adjacent the wall. It shouldn't be adjacent to a toilet. It shouldn't be overlooking, like your puja shouldn't face a toilet. It shouldn't be adjacent to one, and either the gods face east or the gods face west. Both are fine.
What if the kitchen wall, where your stove is shares the same wall as the bathroom?
Uh, so you're saying you have a kitchen, you have a wall, you have a bathroom adjacent to your kitchen, is what you're saying.
Correct.
And that wall, what is on the wall in the kitchen which is adjacent to the bathroom? Is your gas stove over there, or is it just your storage?
No, it's a gas stove.
See, the simplest thing you can do is, again, you put in, you get something called copper wire. It's very easily available in the market. Or you can get it online on Amazon. You just type in copper wire. You get a roll for around 800 to 1000. Uh, you just put in 4 nails in the 4 corners of your bathroom and wind the copper wire, and on that wall in your kitchen you just make like a frame exactly where your gas is of copper wire. To an extent, the copper and a bowl of rock salt will do the job. It'll make sure that the energy of the toilet doesn't enter the kitchen.
Super. Thank you.
So I think someone, yes, Mr. Ramesh has asked, what if your head is towards the west? Ramesh sir, if you don't have any other option, but you have to keep your head in the west, it's fine. But I would still suggest south is the number one option, second is east, and third is west.
Okay, slightly southwesterly.
Pardon?
It's slightly southwesterly.
Southwest is fine. I'm assuming your house is a little tilted or the building is a little cross.
Yes, it is.
In such a case, you can keep your head in the southwest, it's fine.
Okay. And suppose the puja room shares maybe about 2 feet of its wall with the toilet, and the access is from completely different direction. Is there any way we can anything we can do to protect or separate them, like this copper wire idea?
The copper wire is not going to help with the puja room and the toilet, because this whole sanctity of the whole purpose of a puja is to bring out and maintain the positivity at home with it. And what does a toilet exactly do? A toilet is a place of disposal. It's actually cleansing out the negativity inside you.
Mhm.
So when you have even anything above a 5 or 6 feet, like a really thick wall, above 3 feet gap, okay, then you can say the energy will not pass out. But when you have such a case, I would suggest number one, you can shift it. If you cannot shift it, yes, there are options, but then you'll have to go for more, a few more complex options like using pyramids and crystals to block that kind of energy coming in.
Okay. And what if you have a coconut on your site? Suppose you want to build a house and you have a coconut tree in the middle of your site. What is normally done as per Vastu? Is there
It's right in the center of your site.
almost?
See, the Brahmastan or the center of your site is it's a very important part. If it's an empty site, I would suggest cutting down a tree is not a good option. But nowadays, with the technology that's advanced, there are companies which actually have a way of actually uprooting the tree without damaging the roots and actually moving it to another corner. You can move it to the southwest zone.
Okay.
But generally, having a tree from other than a tulsi or a neem tree from the center of your site is not good.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the kitchen, they say the cooking range, you know, where you cook your food, the east is the best direction. I don't know. Am I right?
There's a reason for that, Reena, because generally what happens, the east, it's because of the sun. The sun rises in the east. The sun is also very good at actually killing harmful bacteria. So when you have your cooking range in the east, you're moving in tandem with nature in a way that anything you cook will digest better, will also the nutritions will stay intact. That is the whole idea of having a cooking range in your east.
Okay, but supposing it's not in the east, you're not able to shift around, then what do you do? I mean, what's the worst direction that the cooking range
The
could be?
worst direction, worst as in worst, I mean, is the south.
Okay. The rest would be okay, even if it's in the west or something, it's okay.
No, it's not okay that you have to still balance it because okay. Which direction is your cooking range in?
Yeah, that's what I think it's in the west, right from the beginning for the last 30 years. So can I do anything about it to neutralize
Yes,
the
it can be
effect?
done without, yes, it can be done. Have you ever noticed simple things that every time you cook, all, I'm sure that all of y'all at home would always find the food a little heavy, or would always, someone in the house would have acidity issues with, like an irritable bowel or being bloated generally after eating, or you can't eat too much, or eat a little, but you feel that you've eaten a lot. I'm sure someone might have these issues at home.
Yeah, now that you're saying, maybe I need to give it a thought. But I don't know. See, in my house, the thing is, we do a lot of mantra, jap, the prayers and all while we are cooking. I don't know. Probably that's what is negating it. That's what I think. But I really haven't given a thought to what you just mentioned.
No, see, what happens, Reena, is you would probably not give it a thought because you would consciously think that is how your body is designed.
Hmm.
See, I'm always sure all of y'all would go to a certain restaurant, eat something, and say, the food is so light here, I
Yeah.
can eat more here. You would all go to a certain restaurant and say, I just ate 2 idlis, and this guy's probably added soda, so I'm actually feeling very heavy.
Ah,
Most
correct,
of the
correct.
time, he's not even added soda. It's just that that place is badly designed. The energy is such that, it's very hard to digest the food from there.
Yeah. So what do you do? What's the remedy then? How do you counteract this energy? What would the solution be?
See, the first simplest solution you could do is you could actually, in the southeast corner of your kitchen,
Yeah.
you could place a red bulb to activate the southeast, the fire energy in the kitchen. You place a red bulb. Either you fix a red bulb and keep it on at least while you're cooking, number one.
Hmm.
Number
Okay.
two, number two, you try using more earthen vessels while you're cooking. Try using more brass, copper, and earthenware. So
Hmm.
to a large extent, it's negated there. And number
Hmm.
three, you buy, like I told you, copper wire, a very good
Mm-hmm.
reflector and deflector of energy. You buy a roll of copper wire, just tie it around the legs of, if your gas is actually fitted into the counter, below the gas, you wind the entire region where the gas is with copper wire
Okay.
at the base, and you keep a bowl of rock salt right below your gas stove and change it once a week.
Ah. So
But
winding
red
the
bulb
cooking
is,
range
yes,
with the wire, copper wire at the base.
yes, and with the
Okay.
red bulb in your southeast corner, and
Mm.
that will activate the fire energy. So that will actually, see, Vastu is very related to every part of your body. In
Mm.
Vastu, we say the southwest is your head,
Mm.
your northeast is your head, and the southwest are your feet. So
Southwest
everyone,
are the feet. Okay.
yeah, your lower part of your body. So your
Mm.
Brahmastan, or the center of the house, or the Brahmastan in Vastu, is your
Mm.
stomach and your belly button.
Mm-hmm.
So every time there's a defect in a certain part of the house, that will affect a certain part of the body. In
Okay.
your case, what's happening is, with the gas in the West, it's always going to have digestive issues, gastric issues. I'm sure someone in your house has a problem having a B12 deficiency,
No, nobody. Nobody.
malabsorption. So these
Um,
issues generally crop up.
okay. So could I just ask one? Thank you so much for letting me know this. Could I just ask you another question?
Yeah.
There is another thing what people are very particular about, where the master bedroom should be. So is there something known as this is the best direction, or if it's in some other direction, it's not a good idea?
Okay. I'm going to answer your question with a very relevant example. Could you tell me, why do you have an anchor in the ship? An anchor is, what stops or brings the ship to a halt. The
Mm-hmm.
whole reason why we have an anchor is because sometime you have to stop the ship, or
Right.
the anchor is the heaviest part of the ship.
Right.
Just like that, uh, the head of the family, when they are in a certain zone of the house, they will always have better control over the other. Control, I don't mean emotionally or manipulative control, but control in the sense, today you have kids, you know what is, till a certain age, you have to decide and make the decisions for them.
Mm.
You
Right.
have parents, you would know what kind of doctor, what medicines, what diet is better for them. So
Yes.
in such a thing, that kind of control is very important to lay in your hands. So the southwest is very important. So when you sleep in the southwest,
Mm.
you will always have, you will have better control, in the sense everyone in your family will live in balance because of you. You're the anchor of the ship, you're the captain.
Okay.
You know how to, where to guide the ship, and you know how to take it ahead, and others will come to you. But if you sleep in the wrong zone, your advice will be disruptive. Whatever you suggest for someone will not help them.
So how do you then, what's the remedy for this? I mean, supposing you couldn't help having your master bedroom in the southwest, it was
See, at
somewhere
least
else.
never have children sleeping in the southwest, because they become very dominant by
Okay.
nature.
Mm-hmm.
You can have anyone sleep in the southwest other than your children. And if you probably have, the worst thing you can do is have a kitchen, or have a servant room in the southwest.
Okay. So what do you do if the bedroom, the master bedroom is not in the southwest? If it's elsewhere, then how do you go about correcting the or balancing the energies there?
So in such cases, we will have to physically visit the house, see
Oh,
where the actual master bedroom is, and balance it in such a way that it inculcates, probably your master bedroom is in the northeast, but it will start inculcating and absorbing properties of a southwest bedroom. So there are
okay.
ways of playing with those energies to give it the vibrations of a southwest room. And
Okay.
for these kind of complex defects, whether it's bedrooms or bathrooms or kitchens, it's better you would have to call a Vastu consultant home to help you balance it. It cannot actually be done by just simply using copper wire or
Offhand
something.
suggestions like that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So
Sir,
I think
Anything
May I
else?
ask, yeah,
I have
only
two
hello.
just
questions.
one
Yes.
Go
question.
ahead.
Okay, Ramesh, you go. I'll do after you.
I'm Janaki Ram.
Oh, Janki,
Uh,
okay, after
my
you.
Ram,
question
please ask.
is, Can I ask?
Yes,
Please
please,
go
sir,
ahead.
please ask.
See, in the School of Ancient Wisdom, there are 4 pyramids. And Ma Manise, founder, used to tell it is better that we take pyramid to stay. So my question is, you are telling pyramid is not very good.
No, pyramid in the sense I never said a pyramid is bad. I mean, a pyramid for meditative purposes is good.
Oh, okay. Meditative process. Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
meditative
Then
purposes of
second,
place. See, yeah, see, a
oh, okay.
meditative zone is such where you
Yeah,
have to
Pyramid
cut
Valley
out.
is there. Correct. I got it. Thank you. For
Yes.
meditative, and many of the
Meditative,
other
see,
meditation halls are built like that. Okay. Thank
yeah,
you
the
very much.
reason being, sir, is what happens in a spherical or a pyramid structure.
Yes.
All the energies get cut out. You only start concentrating on one aspect. So what is required in a meditation zone. You need to cut off from the world and your problems, and you need to just
Okay.
concentrate. So that is the idea.
That is useful. Thanks. Second one is, of course, it is unrelated, but they were related. Today, your talk on Vastu was there in the program, and the newspaper headline is Tihar Jail. I don't know, the Tihar Jail is met the Vastu requirements.
Yes, I read that article. Yes, it's also very required. Even a place like a jail needs to be designed as per Vastu. Because what is the purpose of a jail is more than a jail being somewhere where someone has to be imprisoned. The whole purpose of a jail is that someone who's committed a mistake comes there but goes out a better person. He regrets for what he does. He stays in confinement and becomes a better person, transforms himself mentally, and goes out a better person. That's the whole idea of a jail. Also, the another purpose of a jail is it should be designed in such a way that the energies are conducive, that there should not be any kind of unwanted hazards, fights in the jail among the inmates. No one should try to break the jail. In such cases, even commercial buildings, if they are not designed in the proper way, they are always prone to fires. One case study, I'm sure all of y'all would have heard about this one building many years back, which called fire was called Carlton Towers on Old Airport Road.
Yes.
But very sad event, yes, in Bangalore.
Yes, a lot of people died. Me and few of my where we have a very interesting Vastu group also, a couple of consultants, we get together and we discuss on these things. We actually did a in-depth research Vastu wise on the building, and we exactly understood from a Vastu perspective why this might have happened. There were certain defects which were indicating that this building is very prone to robberies, very prone to hazards, very prone to and it was very prone to people who just come stay there and not want to move out, not want to pay rent. So I also spoke to the in charge over there. He told me, yes, there are a lot of people who would just sit there and, they wouldn't pay rent on time, or, age old thing. They would put cases and say, you cannot evict me. So that building had that kind of vibration. And also, right adjacent to the building was a very big stormwater drain in the northeast, which was also affecting the building very negatively. So yes, we also have, sorry, I didn't see the chat box. Mr. Jagdish has asked, if a house is constructed by removing a snake pit, does it have any effect on the people who reside in it? So Jagdish sir, see, a lot of people say that a snake pit is also, if you get it removed, you will absorb some form of Kal Sarpadosh. Disturbing, like I told, Ramesh sir asked me about the tree. Same principle applies for a snake pit. If you have it, there are people these days very expertly who can actually move the snake pit to a zone where it's meant to be without destroying it. Then it will not affect it. But yes, if you have removed the snake pit and disturbed its energy by you are actually inhabiting that space in a space where they were meant to be, and we've gone there. So yes, you're not going to be cursed. It will not affect you in a very big way, but yes, there will be some negativity on the land. There are ways of removing it, but also this is a very complex dosha, which also has to be checked upon physically. So I wouldn't be able to tell you to do something off the hand. And the next question is Mrs. Renuka. What if there is a bathroom in the south? So, Mrs. Renuka, the simplest thing you can do is you try sleeping in the east. If you cannot sleep right above your in front of your bathroom door, you put in a red color curtain, a really thick curtain. You put a curtain rod above your bathroom door and cover it with a red curtain. So when you enter the bathroom, you have to move the curtain and enter. And also same copper wire on the, you put two nails on both the ends of the door frame of the bathroom and wind copper wire like a frame all around the door. So to a large extent, that energy of the bathroom will not come out.
Can I ask one quick question?
Yes, yes,
But
sure.
but the door is not right. It's to the corner. Is it all right?
No, as long as, see, it's in the corner, it's fine. What I was saying is, imagine this is your head and this wall is right where your bathroom is. When you're sleeping, your head shouldn't face, you should not be in the same line as the bathroom door.
Oh, it
If
doesn't.
you're
It's
sleeping
not in
here,
the.
the bathroom door is here, it's fine.
Okay. There's a wall in between.
It's fine. You can have a partition. If you have a wall, it's fine. But even if you have a wall, at least if not the curtain, at least the copper wire should be put.
Okay.
And you can keep a bowl of rock salt and change it once a month inside the bathroom. And everyone, rock salt is very good inside the bathroom, irrespective of whether you have a bathroom in the right place or no. Keeping a bowl of rock salt inside your bathrooms, it's very good because, like I told, the bathroom is a place where you disperse a lot of your negative energy when you clear out your gut. Keeping a bowl of rock salt, that excessive negativity which is not released is released there, so the rock salt will absorb it. So everyone, you all can just keep the rock salt. You can keep it on the windowsill, on top of the toilet, wherever you have space. Change it once a month.
So my question actually
Thank you.
was
Thank you.
about the container for the rock salt. Should it be metal or should it, what is that?
See, the number one option is if you can get your hands on a copper bowl, it's very good. You can go online, you get small, really, really small copper bowls. They hardly cost maybe 150 to 200 a bowl.
But
That's
salt
the number one
has,
option.
no, Mr. Manoj, it's the salt makes that copper or metal get spoiled with the salt in it.
No, see, the whole purpose is, see, it doesn't matter. See, the salt will erode any material. You even put it in a plastic glass, it will start releasing water. You put it in anything, it will corrode it. The whole purpose, see, the whole aesthetic here is not about that. You put it in a bowl, eventually the purpose of that bowl is only to hold the salt. It doesn't matter whether it corrodes or no. Once a year, you just change the bowl.
Okay, okay,
But
okay.
copper or brass, one of these two bowls. See, all of us in our olden fashioned houses, I remember all us, especially in South India, we would always have a brass matka in the kitchen. We would
Yeah,
always drink of the brass matka.
yeah. But
These
salt
days,
is corrosive. That's why I asked you the question.
no, salt is corrosive, but you change it once a week, it will not corrode to a large extent. It will corrode because of the moisture, but you change it regularly, it will not.
And it should be open. It should not be covered, isn't it?
No, it has to be open. You can't just keep it in a bowl and place it. If you have
Anywhere.
a windowsill where you have your exhaust fan, that is the best place. Or even above the toilet, if you have like a
Yeah,
cabinet or something, you can keep it there.
yeah.
Manoj, how do you dispose this salt? Do you
You
flush
can
it down?
yes, you have to. Yes, very good question, Sajani. See, salt shouldn't be thrown just like this on the road or anything. It's not lucky. because salt is also a form of prosperity. You flush it down, you can flush it down the toilet, you can flush it down in any water source, you can flush it down in your basin, but the idea is to release it using water.
I put it into the mopping water, the old salt.
Yeah, but you
No,
put
no,
it in
no.
the mopping water, it's fine, but don't again mop the house with that water
Oh,
every time,
I
because
see.
then all the negativity that your toilet is absorbed,
It's going
that
into
salt is
it.
absorbed, it's going to go into your thing.
Okay.
See, once a month, all of y'all can, along with salt, see, using salt on a day-to-day basis to mop your house is very good. That is the best Vastu activation you all can do. I'm sure all of y'all here meditate, all of y'all here have a spiritual life, you all are very active. You will see a major difference in your meditation by just using salt. Mop the house every single day with salt. Make it a normal routine, like you put Lysol or Harpic into the like
Yeah,
into the
that's what
bucket.
we do.
Yeah, you just add salt. Along with salt, there's also one very other beautiful material which is very, very inexpensive. It only hardly costs 100 rupees a kilogram. You use that, it's very beautiful to cleanse energy. It's called alum. Uh, you'll get it in any puja samagri shop. You know, in the olden days, the barbers used to use it to soothe the skin after a shave. You get like this white piece which they used to use on the skin. Even these days, and even now in Kerala, a lot of my clients on a day-to-day basis, I'm sure even in many shops, you would have seen that people hang this white color stone in the entrance to absorb negativity. So y'all can crush a little alum, a little salt, keep it in a box, and every day use it while mopping.
Is Feng
Ramesh,
Shui and Vastu related?
Yes, Feng Shui and Vastu is very related. It was just like, you know, the Chinese also their art of style of fighting, which was martial arts, and all of this were actually nothing but it was taken from India and modified with a little mirch masala. Vastu, the base of Feng Shui is also Vastu. Certain differences are there. Vastu concentrates on the energy aspect and placement of things. Feng Shui is not very deep into placement, but more into uh, the aesthetics, more into the color combinations and the measurements and the energy things feed off. Feng Shui says that every non-living thing, including a piece of furniture, also has energy in it. So those are the
I have a
bare
question.
differences, but both are right. Both are good. You should bring in both in balance into your lives.
I have a question. I want to know how much salt you must put while mopping the floor into the bucket. How
Very
much
little,
salt?
half a spoon, half a teaspoon, or 1 teaspoon, not more than that.
Oh, okay, okay. 1 teaspoon. Okay, thanks. So, but how
Manoj,
about in
I'd
changing your
like to
bucket?
ask you a question. What I really want to know is you must have had clients who came to you and things were going wrong. Now, by changing the Vastu, were you able to change some of their problems? Just give us one case study.
See, my most important case study was in one of in one of the families that I did Vastu 2 years back. They are a very well-renowned jeweler family. They stayed together for a lot of years, joint family. A three-floor house which was built by their father. Everything was fine. The minute the father died, the brothers had their separation. The business was fine, but their families were very attached. The children were attached, but there were issues, and they all were insecure, and they all wanted to move out and separate. But the mother started getting very sick, hearing thoughts about the sons separating and the family splitting. So yes, one of the brothers contacted me and they told me there are such problems prevalent in the house. So the first thing I noticed in that house was that recently, after their father had died, the water consumption was generally a little off in the house. So they wanted to add some additional they wanted to add some additional water storage in the house. So they landed up making an underground tank, a second one, in the southwest region of the house, and they made a lot of changes in that zone. It was actually nothing but a garden, a nice rock garden, but they converted that whole garden into an underground water tank, and they started using it to dump a lot of, like, a storeroom. So just by correcting that, and we had certain activations done for the tank and for replacing things what were not meant to be there. And eventually, slowly, what happened is there was a shift, paradigm shift in the elder brother's mind, in his thought pattern. They decided that it makes no sense for the family to move out. They came to an amicable solution that the simplest thing we can do is we'll just, as per Vastu, build 3 kitchens on each floor. Everyone live their individual lives without any interference, but we all stay in the same in the same building, but we all have our individual privacy. So at least they came to that amicable thought, and this happened within 7 months of doing the changes. And no one spoke to the elder brother about it. It just came as a thought from inside for him.
Thank you. Are there any more questions?
Yes, Sajani, I have a couple of questions.
Okay, Ramesh and Sunita.
Yeah, okay, Ramesh.
Yeah, sure. The question was, I know that water movement in the house should happen from the southwest towards the northeast, with the northeast being lower. So people would normally have the water tanks in the southwest side. And we were all in the understanding that southwest should be the highest point. But I was quite surprised to hear one Vastu consultant who said that actually the center point of the house should be the highest. Is that the truth? Or?
See, there are different thoughts of school, Ramesh. See, like everyone, you see, like even a lot of astrologers, depending upon who's taught them, have different ways of analyzing. They have different solutions. One astrologer would tell you to wear a ring. Another astrologer would just tell you to get another puja done. Like that, different thoughts. But
Mute
generally,
yourself, someone. There's a lot of noise. Kindly mute yourself.
southwest should be the heaviest point. So if you're talking about an overhead tank, yes, your overhead tank should be in the southwest. Your northeast should be your lowest point. The reason being that is how the energy flows. Your house generally, but the simplest thing, most contractors do that. They slope the site in such a way that the southwest is always higher. If your southwest is not the highest point, there will be imbalances in the head of the family. I mean, either if, see, the head of the family here doesn't mean the oldest or the eldest member in the family. It can also mean if your parents are retired and today you're earning, Ramesh, and you're taking care of everyone, you become the head of the family. You will always have certain issues if there's an imbalance in the southwest. Issues of you will earn money, but that money will never stay. Unwanted medical expenses. You will always have certain sorts of depressions, insecurities regards to your relationship. Southwest is a very important zone of the house.
Okay.
If you could ask me, the most important.
Okay. So one more thing is I've also been told that Vastu actually the impact it has on the energies of the house and the people in the house is about maybe 10%. The remaining is really the kind of energies you bring into the picture, the efforts that the people in the house put in, the positivity and so on. What is your view on that? Is the truth in it?
It's 110% true. 50% is Vastu and 50% is your personal energy.
Oh,
If I, as a Vastu consultant, come to your house, correct your entire house, balance the energies and leave, but every day, if Ramesh, you're going to fight with your parents, with your wife, even 100% perfect Vastu house is not going to give you that happiness. There'll be such imbalances you can't imagine. But what happens is because of your house is Vastu compliant, that 50%, what will happen? The people in the house will not feel like doing things which are not against their nature. They will not be restless. They will not be confused. They will not be lazy. When there are defects in the house, these energies are very prevalent in people. People will want to sleep, even if they sleep 10 or 11 hours, they'll still feel like, I haven't slept all night. They will sleep at 3 in the morning and get up at 12. These are all telling signs of certain defects that go unnoticed.
So it's more like 50% and not 10%.
50-50. 50% is your Vastu, 50% is your person. Yes, but as a family, whenever you call a Vastu consultant home and get your house balanced, everyone has to be on board. Balancing only doesn't have to work with crystals and pyramids and moving around things or changing the wall color. It also has to be that you all believe that there is a problem at home and you'll all work towards collectively correcting it by correcting yourselves.
Got it. Thank you, Manoj.
So I just have a quick question. Why is number 13 considered unlucky, or is it really supposed to be unlucky, or is it just a myth? I mean, does
That
it
myth
have?
was not there before Alfred Hitchcock made that movie Friday the 13th, to be very honest.
Okay.
You know, after
So, I
that
mean,
movie came, that 13th is generally lucky. See, numbers play a very predominant role for certain people. I know a lot of people. See, I'll tell you one thing. Coming to numbers, I'll deviate off target from numbers into directions. A lot of people who don't know Vastu also are very scared about south facing. They feel south is a direction of death or direction of Lord Yama. So let's not buy a house, office, anything. You go to Dubai, the most expensive shops, the most richest sheikhs who live there are all in south facing houses. Reason being, from Dubai, Mecca is towards the southeast. Just like that, even numbers, certain numbers suit certain people, certain numbers don't suit certain people. But 13 in general is not a it's not a bad number, but it's a little imbalanced number.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
May I add on to that, really? Friday the 13th really is a very Christian concept because Christ was crucified on Friday and there were 13 apostles. So it really comes from there.
Yes, I'm sorry. I also remembered that, but I also remembered the movie. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
No, but this is how. So, most Christians would say Friday the 13th because the crucifixion of Christ and the 13 apostles.
So see, a lot of people also get stuck. They would say some of the, like you said, like Christ was crucified that day. A lot of people would also say that, on a certain day, something happened. So they would just say no day or no number is unlucky. You make it, like I said, 50% is your personal energies. But yes, certain effects are there, like a full moon is very good to meditate because the moon's energy is very good to cleanse you and open up your channels. A no moon or an Amavas day is generally dangerous because uh, there are energies in the environment which are more active on that day. These factors work more predominantly than numbers.
Thank you. Any other questions?
It's just
Yeah.
one last one, Mr. Manoj, about this crystals and pyramids. Where can we keep them in our puja place?
See, Kashmira, it's just like I would suggest that even these things, the crystals and pyramids are very sensitive to energy. If you don't know what kind of crystals to use where, every crystal has a certain nature. A certain crystal is to bring in to if a person is a little scared or a person is a little low on confidence, certain crystals bring in that fire energy, which are very good. By mistake, if you use the wrong pyramid in the wrong place, there'll be a lot of anger, a lot of fights at home. So yes, you keep the right kind of pyramids and right kind of crystals. See, the idols that are kept in your puja, if you think of it, it's nothing but they are mediums of channelizing God's energy. See, many, many years back, our ancestors knew that going forward in the future, in Kali Yuga, we all are going to be so busy. We are not going to, if you simply, someone would tell you just join your hands to the sun and the moon and pray and you'll be happy, no one will do it. So they trapped all these energies in the form of idols and created this fear concept. That's why. But idols are important because they trap these energies and channelize them. So yes, when you have crystals and pyramids in your puja, the idols are more well activated and there's more peace at home and prosperity at home.
Thank you.
I think
Questions?
someone has raised their hand, Mrs. Sadhvi Kapoor.
Yes, Sadhvi. Any questions, Sadhvi?
I have a simple question.
I have been enjoying listening and getting some knowledge about Vastu. I have no idea as such. Anyway, it's been very well placed and put, and I am enjoying listening to it. Thank you so much, Mr. Manoj.
Your icon shows your hand up. That's why. You can.
Oh, I don't know,
you can-
maybe by mistake.
Right, right. So you can press that and put it down.
I have
Anyone
a
else?
simple question. I have a simple question. Won't take too long.
Yeah, Deepti, go ahead.
Okay, how much salt are you supposed to place in the bucket when you have a bath in like one full bucket of water? How much salt do you put, and is it once a week?
So see, actually what happens is a lot of us are actually using a shower when we take bath. In such a case, what you can do, you take a normal shower bath. Right in the end, you just take 2 mugs of at least mildly hot water. Salt works better with hot water. You put it in the mug, you just put half a spoon in each mug and you put it on different parts of your body. And you just imagine that your body is releasing out that negativity. Even 2 mugs of hot water with half a spoon in each mug is good enough. If you're taking a bucket bath, 1 spoonful in an entire bucket is good enough.
A tablespoon, right?
Yes, a tablespoon of thing, and for all
Warm water.
women, especially for all women, along with this is only for women. Along with rock salt, all women can actually add a little rose water in your buckets when you're taking bath. It's very good for your energies. It'll help you all, especially if you're a career-oriented woman or you're someone who are doing if you're entrepreneurs. Rose water does wonders for your energy. You all will have that energy to attract that kind of financial prosperity. So for all women, especially, please use rose water along with rock salt.
So how much rose water? Like 1 teaspoon?
Yeah, you just get that squeezy bottle of Dabur or something, right? You just squeeze in a little.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, roughly a spoon.
Okay, so a teaspoon and 1 tablespoon of salt in an
Yeah,
entire
doing at
bucket.
least 3 times a week is good, but generally it's very good when you come back from work. What happens on a day-to-day basis, we meet a lot of people, we get stressed with different people at work. End of the day is the best time to use rock salt. Even in the
Oh,
morning is good, but it's always if you are in a habit of taking a shower after work, I'm sure all of us because of COVID also shower actually at least twice a day nowadays. So it's good. You can add salt even twice a day, but also don't add salt when you're taking a head bath. Sometimes it might affect your hair.
oh, okay.
So
So it's warm water that you add the salt and
yeah, so just take a normal bath in the end, right in the end, 2 mugs of warm water, and you just add salt in each mug and just pour it all over your body and just consciously take that sankalp that, while I'm doing this, the negativity is releasing out.
oh, okay, okay, yeah. Thank you so much.
So my
Other
suggestion
questions?
is that every architect, every builder first learn Vastu, so it should be a part of the course, I think.
No, it is also nowadays it is a part of the course, but it's like other subjects, it's very basic. They only go on the placement. They teach you on very basics that where the kitchen should be, where the bedroom should be. That's it. They don't work on balancing energies. So imagine you have a big drain or a stormwater drain behind the
Yeah.
building. They'll not know what to do to balance that energy. They'll just make the building, and people will just see a compass and say, okay, fine, as per Vastu, everything is fine. Let's move in.
Yeah. Thank you. It was wonderful listening to you.
Okay, so I think we've come to the end of this. I now request Sunitha to kindly propose a vote of thanks. This was really a wonderful session, and we look forward to meeting you face to face at the School of Ancient Wisdom. So
Sure,
it's over
sure,
to you,
Sajani.
Sunitha.
Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure, Manoj. I am so happy to have attended your session. And judging from the interaction, everybody was totally absorbed in the topic. Personally, I had very nebulous knowledge or ideas of Vastu. So you certainly have, made it clear how in our everyday life also we can employ certain simple methods to help the energy around us. So thank you so much really for sharing all this with us. I think there was a request for your phone number. I wonder if it's gone on the chat or
You can,
has it?
no.
Yeah, I'll add it onto the chat box.
Okay, so that I mean, if any of us do, would you sort of be okay with anybody making a phone call and
Yes, yes, sure. Anyone, anytime you all need any guidance, you all can please call. I've added my number.
yeah,
Yes.
okay. Thank
99
you. Yeah. I see that it is 991 666
666
1445.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
991
you.
666.
Thank you so much, Manoj. I'm
Thank you,
sure
everyone.
we would welcome any future sessions also on this subject. And thanks so much for giving us your time and sharing your knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sunitha. And now I'd like to tell everyone that next Thursday we have a very interesting doctor who will be talking on the concept of aging in Ayurveda, Dr. Renuka. She's really good. So I would like all of you to join and also ask your friends to join, please. The school is getting you wonderful people. We are not charging, we're not paying the people. So all we would like you to do is to tell your friends about this and so that we can have more and more people. So we look forward to having you again next Thursday. And now I would like Ramesh to end with the Loka Samasta.
Thank you, Sajani. Well, after this wonderful session by Mr. Manoj on this very ever interesting topic of Vastu, let us all sit straight, because as he was saying, I think the strongest source of good energy in our house is us, all of us. So we're all little drops of the divine. So let us all sit straight and spread that energy to through ourselves, to our communities. Let us pray for all those in our communities who need support in any way. Let us spread this wonderful energy out to everybody as a soul, as we do this Loka Samasta. With your back, neck, and head aligned, please sit straight. Take a deep breath and let go. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Arpanamastu.
Somebody has got their audio on. Kindly mute it, especially while we are having our talk and our prayers. Kindly mute your audio. Thank you, everyone, for being with us.
You're on mute, Sajani. We can't hear you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us. Thank you so much, Manoj. Well, we really enjoyed it. It was so interactive, and we look forward to having you again. Next Thursday, we have the concept of aging in Ayurveda. Kindly join us because we have a very good speaker next Thursday also. All right. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sajani. Thank you, everyone.